Hello children, today we will learn about a different portion from the chapter from History, Nationalism in India. In our previous video, I discussed with you about major factors which promoted the sense of nationalism in India, and after this video, the next video was limitations of civil disobedience movement that I have discussed with you in the second video. And today I'll be discussing with you about the particular part related to civil disobedience movement. We must know about the events led to the Salt March and civil disobedience movement which happened in 1930. And this can be reframed like this. The question can be reframed like this: Sir, what were the circumstances that led to the civil disobedience movement? So let us learn how to answer this particular question in short and very clearly in a very simple manner. And for this question, like what were the circumstances that led to the civil disobedience movement? That means we need to know the background of the civil disobedience movement. What are the things happening before the launch of civil disobedience movement? So I have just prepared few points. These 5 points, children, you'll be mentioning in your answer script. For this question, the point number 1 is about the Simon Commission, which failed in 1928. First point is about the Simon Commission failed in 1928. Point number 2, demand of Purna Swaraj at Lahore Congress in December 1929. And point number 3, you need to mention about Lord Irwin rejected 11 demands of Gandhiji. And point number 4, about impact of the Great Depression of 1929 on Indian economy. And the final point you are supposed to mention is about Indian business class people provided financial support to the civil disobedience movement. These 5 points you are supposed to mention for this question. These were the conditions just before the launch of the civil disobedience movement in March 1920. March 1930. So, first point, you know, children, the Simon Commission was sent by the British government in England. This, like a group of officials, were sent by the Tory government, okay, and this group of officials were led by Sir John Simon. And this commission was set up, and they arrived in India. They were supposed to look into the functioning of constitutional system in India. But unfortunately, in this commission, there was no Indian member at all. So the Simon Commission was not welcomed by Indians. So the people greeted with slogan, "Go back, Simon." So, Simon Commission arrived in India in 1928, but this was a failure. Okay, this could not do anything. Okay, regarding the constitutional changes or about the constitutional functioning of India during British Raj. Let us come to point number 2. Children, as you know, in December 1929, the Congress session was headed by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. This session was held at Lahore, and Lahore session of Congress formalized the demand of Purna Swaraj, or full independence for India. And at this session it was decided that it was declared there that 26 January 1930 would be celebrated as the Independence Day. So this initiative was taken up at Lahore session of Indian National Congress. And when we discuss about point number 3, children, this is about Lord Irwin. Gandhiji, on 31st January 1930, Gandhiji sent a letter to Viceroy Irwin mentioning 11 demands. And some of the demands were like reducing land revenue, abolition of salt tax, releasing all political prisoners, like that. 11 demands were there. But Lord Irwin, Viceroy Irwin, rejected Gandhiji's demands. So this is also one of the reasons. So this is the backdrop of the civil disobedience movement. Simon Commission arrived, but it failed. Then Lahore Congress decided to go for Purna Swaraj, or complete independence. Then Viceroy Irwin rejected Gandhiji's 11 demands. And point number 4, we need to know about the impact of Great Depression of 1929. As you know, the Great Depression of 1929 began with the stock market crash in USA. And that has a deep impact on the Indian economy too. Especially the agricultural prices, the product prices fell, and the demand for agriculture goods fell. The export also declined. So that affected very badly on Indian economy. Because of the Great Depression of 1929, the whole world was affected. So India was also not exception. And the final point, children, you need to mention about in which way civil disobedience movement got a boost. As we know, there were some Indian business people, whether it is about Birla Group, Birla family, or any other, or Tatas. So many business class people were the business people, those who flourished with the trade with China and all. So these business class people, they provided a support, financial support, because they were the richer people in India. So they provided financial support to this civil disobedience movement. Why? Because these people, they were restricted very badly by the British government, the Britishers. So they decided to provide financial support for a large-scale movement called civil disobedience movement, hoping that the future would be better for Indian business class people. So these 5 points, children, you are supposed to mention for this question. The question was about which events led to the Salt March and civil disobedience movement in 1930s, or what were the circumstances led to the civil disobedience movement in 1930. You know, the civil disobedience movement began with Gandhiji's Salt March in March 12, 1930. So all these 5 points are to be mentioned, and for each point you can explain a bit. That would be better. And if you mention all these 5 points, and you are going to get a full mark. This question is of 5 marks. Okay, it's a long type question answer. That's all for today, children. I hope you have understood this particular part, particular question, very important question, which was repeated in board papers. Thank you so much, children. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel. Bye, children.